Hey, Jennifer.
Hey Tony, how are you?
Amazing, amazing. Welcome, everybody, to Let's Talk Franchising. We are
Yay.
so excited to have a very, very interesting business to share with you today. But,
Yes.
Jennifer, how's your week?
My week has been long. It's been great. A lot of traction around presenting and making recommendations to my clients, which is what I love to do. You know that. And this new world for me, which is a really core aspect of my business, is the networking and being purposeful about that and building out my new networking group. I'm so excited. It's forced me to be plugged in a lot of different areas and making connections there uh, with people who didn't think about how they can position their business to support the franchise industry, if I will. I think that's your story too, right, Tony?
Absolutely, absolutely. And, networking is all about support, positioning networking to support the franchise community. And
That's right.
so, I'm very proud of you. You are so getting drastic.
I'm getting drastic.
Her personality, you guys, is so like polar opposite of mine. And but she's getting out of her comfort
I
zone
am.
so much so that we have scheduled a live event in an ATL.
That's right. I can't wait for you to come here May 19th.
May 19th, and
Yes,
we're doing a network in action networking event specifically for franchisors, franchisees, those who serve franchises. Even if you don't know, show up because you just never know. And we're excited. Plus, I'm excited to be in your hometown.
I
What
know. I
brand new
know.
photography? What hair am I going to wear?
That's always the question, right? Right. And this will be a free event, guys. So
Free with
valet
food.
parking, no excuses. So
Free with
come out.
food. So come
Free
on
with
out.
food.
I'm
That's right.
coming from Texas to meet the ATL family. So I'm super excited about that. The other thing I'm excited about is I've been planning for my event all week, and that's coming to an end. But it's like doing a wedding, girl. Twice a year, I'm planning for a wedding, if you can imagine. But it
I'm
is, I do these events so that I can help my community to get drastic, get out
yeah,
their comfort zone, show up differently, and serve the people they're meant to serve. So,
that's right. That's what it's all about. And I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to attend and get some of those great nuggets on how I can start, facilitating and organizing some of my own events. So I'm excited about that.
yay. Well, let's go ahead and get our guest on stage.
Yes.
You want to tell us a little bit about her, and then I'll bring her to the stage.
Yes, so I had the pleasure of meeting Miss Nicole McIntyre at the International Franchise Association conference in San Diego. We made a brief introduction there, and we immediately knew that we wanted to connect and have conversations outside of that conference. And we did that, and I have been so elated to learn more and more about her brand. She's based out of Raleigh, North Carolina, and her brain is awesome. So I'm not going to steal any of her thunder. I would like for you all to meet Miss Nicole McIntyre. Nicole, take it away with introducing Cocoa Forte.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Miss Tony. My name is Nicole McIntyre, and my husband and I, we own a high-end dessert mobile food truck franchise out of Raleigh, North Carolina. We have been in the food truck industry for over a decade now, and I actually started in the concessions and I guess restaurant retail industry when I was a kid in high school. So that's
Wow.
kind of got everything started.
But look at that beautiful face when she was a kid in high school. You can't tell me
I
you're just
know.
graduating high school. No.
I know. Well, I'm sorry I didn't get to meet you when I was at IFA. It was probably one of those times I was doing my own thing. Me and Jennifer divided and conquered.
We sure
So
did.
yeah, so it's nice to meet you now. So I do have a question to I read your story on Voyage, and the first question I have for you is what's it like to be partners with your husband?
It's not easy. It's not easy, but somebody has to take the wheel, and that is me.
Okay. Okay, very good.
You know what? We had to learn how to work together. Uh, Before we started dating, we were friends first. And so when we go to work together, we try to remain being friends while we're on the truck. But let's say we're at a food truck rodeo. You all know food truck rodeos can be kind of wild and crazy. And usually I'll take the orders and he's making the cheesecakes. And I think I'm going slow with taking the orders, but he's always like, can you slow down a little bit? And I'm like, I just need to dip faster. But we make it work.
And that food truck space is such a small, confined space. So you all have to figure it out and make it work, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
So I have okay, go ahead, Jennifer.
So, Nicole, can you tell us about how you got started in the business and the journey and some of the lessons learned? Just kind of paint the picture for us.
Yes. So my background is retail and residential management, but I went to school for business admin. I started at A&T and I ended at our Wake Tech Community College. I always kind of had an entrepreneur spirit because it runs in my family. My grandmother came to this country as an entrepreneur, and my mother is also an entrepreneur. Therefore, it was kind of hard not to go into business for myself. But
Right.
my husband and I, we started Cocoa Forte as a hobby. We were out of a 10 by 10 tent, and we served just chocolate dipped cheesecakes at community events. We strictly did it to have fun, make a little money on the side. And then we started getting requests to come to different community events and festivals. And we would participate in more events and we were making more money. And then I thought, wow, why don't we just get a food truck and turn it into a business? And I wrote up a business plan. I'm really good at making projections, but I'm not good with, well, back then, I wasn't good on taking action on my plan, but my husband is, which makes us great partners. And he thought, okay, well, this looks good. Let's go get a truck. And I said, really? Are you sure? We did. And I gave my job a 2 months notice because I really didn't want to leave. And we kind of just jumped in the food truck industry then. I will say in our area, food trucks are all around and they are very organized, mostly savory trucks at the time. So coming in as a dessert truck, it was a little difficult to see how we could fit in because we weren't exactly an ice cream truck that drives around in neighborhoods. And we weren't exactly a cake truck that kind of sets up maybe on the side of the road and just like a bakery or something. So we really had to create our own lane, which we did. And I participated in a lot of the food truck events in our area. I networked heavily, and we were also members of the local food truck association. I actually served as a board member with them and helped, pave way for more food truckers to come in and be able to be a business owner without so many restrictions from the city ordinances. And we made a lot of progress. So that is somewhat how we've started and how we, we're kind of working in our industry in this local area.
Oh, that's great. Now, did you bootstrap or did you seek funding? How did that work?
Bootstrap. You heard, we started with a 10 by 10 tent.
Yes.
When we would go to events outside of town, we would rent a U-Haul to roll our little freezer in. At one point, I was pregnant at the time. Our daughter is, who's our second child, she's 10 now. But, my husband was like, I don't know about all of this labor we're doing, and you can't even help me because you're pregnant. It was tough. But yeah, bootstrapped. Once we realized, this is no longer a hobby, this is a business.
Yeah.
We didn't take any money from the business. Everything we collected, we reinvested. And that is how we've been able to, grow as a business. We have certain processes in place. We were really able to focus on what this business is going to do in the future for us, which, our main focus is creating a legacy for our children. Mm-hmm. We have 2 children. They participate in our business. And, it's just the continued trend of entrepreneurship in our family that we're able to utilize this business towards.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So how did you go from being food truck, renting U-Hauls, to now being a franchisor? What's that transition?
Well, we knew that we had a great process in place. We knew that it was, we could replicate it, and it was easy, low cost. So I started researching what it takes to be a franchise. And this was probably 3.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And just the few people that I spoke to, I just found their numbers online and I called them, did consultations. They told me that my business wasn't good enough to be a franchise. And it broke my heart because I didn't really understand how to learn about the franchise industry then. Unfortunately, back then, I didn't come across the IFA, and I didn't really have any other resources to help me navigate the franchise industry. So what we did instead was license our trucks. We had 2 mobile units at the time. We partnered with other entrepreneurs that were interested in getting into the food truck industry. We allowed them to utilize our current popularity in the food truck industry in our area to book gigs. And with that, they served our desserts alongside of theirs so that customers and the current demographic can be used to their menu. And the hope was at one point they would be able to move on with their own brand and have a solid foundation for them to continue their business without Cocoa Forte. Mm-hmm. When the pandemic hit and events were canceling left and right and mandates were in place with that you couldn't, especially for restaurants, no one really knew what the regulations should be at the time. So a lot of events, like I said, were canceling. And that is when we decided to allow the licensees out of their contracts, which they chose to do. But unfortunately for them, we started getting private event requests out of the wazoo to the point where we could not handle everything. And that allowed us to really understand who our true demographic is, who our true clientele is, that is willing to pay a certain high-end rate, willing to pay any mileage fees if they're out of our radius. So we did a lot of research there. We decided to participate more in private events, and that would be our bread and butter. And while we were working on that, we looked back into franchising and said, since we were able, we know, no one can tell us that our business is not good enough to franchise. We know that we can replicate our business because we've had licensees and they were able to push our product using our process and make money. Now we know that franchisees can do the same. So that is how we went from one transition of being a food truck owner to now being franchisors.
Wow.
Wow, what a story. And then you said in the pandemic you started getting
That's
private
right.
requests, and there's a lesson in not quitting too soon.
That's
Yes.
right.
There's a lesson
That's
right
right.
there in not quitting too soon, because even though things on the surface look like what the heck, like the pandemic did, it can turn out for your good if you
Absolutely.
just stay the course. So thank you for the motivational moment, lady. You probably didn't even hear all that, but
Right.
that's what I do.
And
So
so much clarity came within that pandemic for
Yeah.
you, because that's when you kind of got your validation that you had
Absolutely.
a model. And Tony, I think earlier on when Nicole was sharing, she said something about um, being on the board of the Food Truck Association. She was plugging in all these different places and networking. And I don't know if you heard that, but Tony is the networking queen. So she really,
it says it up there. You see, like networking queen.
she believes that at the core of every business is networking. So yeah, thank you for that. So now you're a franchise.
Yes.
And so you're what I would deem as an emerging brand, because you're just getting started, less than 50 units. So what do you feel like is the next kind of bar you're setting for yourself if you look 3 years from now? What are some of your targets?
Well, if I'm looking at 3 years from now, I would expect us to have um, a handful of solid franchisees that are proudly working in their business, booking gigs, showing that the system works with our lead generation model, our GIS territory software, which helps our franchisees hone in and find where their demographic clients are. And just continuing to validate the business by showing how our franchisees are prospering
Mm-hmm.
and working towards the goal of what they personally want to achieve. And like I said, for us, it's creating generational wealth and a legacy for our children. And we hope that the franchisees that we're working with are, have the same type of goals, as well as having people and executives in place on a corporate level that are supporting our franchisees to alleviate work that you would typically have to do as a brand new business owner.
That's right.
That is something very important to us, to be able to support our franchisees.
Yeah, and so I'm just going to say this. Nicole is quite humble, but I've been talking with her for quite a while now. And one thing that I can share, which I'm really proud of you for investing in your business this way, she has put in a strong system, tools, processes, and what have you to support the business. And as an emerging brand, that's something that you really don't find a lot of awareness around. I need to invest in these elements of my business in order for the future franchisees to have that support that they need. So I really commend you on that.
Thank you.
Now, when we think about your ideal, because you mentioned, your niche and your, luxury dessert items. So who is your ideal franchisee for partnering with you on something like that?
Well, it could be a range of personnel, but I believe it's someone that comes from the professional world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because of all of the processes we have in place that are really automated. The professional world, where that be military, education, corporate, and enjoy being plugged into their local community, communicating, someone that, enjoys communicating and networking, and just creating relationships with, within their community.
Mm-hmm.
This person would definitely enjoy the flexibility of their time, being able to create their own schedule, understand, the education that we provide when it comes to figuring out your formulas, someone that's not afraid to sit down and evaluate their numbers and see, this works, this is not working.
Yeah.
People that can give, feedback and say, the food truck industry may work this way in Raleigh, North Carolina, but the food truck industry in this area may work a little different. And someone that's not afraid to say, hey, can we customize something for us to fit within the parameters here? But they don't necessarily have to be an entrepreneur or have those skills, because we're going to teach all of that to our franchisees when they participate in our system.
So, am I correct in saying that your model is corporate events, like a high-end wedding or those type of events? Because I saw something in the article about an employee appreciation. Is that some of the stuff that you all do?
Oh, yeah. So we do a range of services. Some of them are shifts, lunch, dinner, and we do another shift called the sweet hour that we made up. We do private events for personal people, like weddings. We do corporate events where corporations will come out, will ask us to come out and serve their employees for a family day or staff appreciation. We also do fundraisers for schools. With that, it's not that we just give money away, whatever we make. We strive to have our clients partner with us, especially events that are not prepaid for. So our clientele is definitely heavily corporate, but when we arrive to their locations, they really have to partner with us in making sure that they have done their due diligence to market us so that people know that we are coming. Have your pockets ready, have your appetite ready for a cheesecake. And, when it comes to fundraisers, as long as we make a certain threshold, then we are happy to give a gift to the host or the nonprofit agency that we participate in that event with.
What's the investment to become a franchisee?
So the franchise fee is $15,000, and the starting total all in starts at $60,000.
That includes my truck.
That includes your truck.
Awesome. And then who makes the cheesecake?
So we have a commissary in Raleigh, North Carolina. We make all of our products here. So our franchisees do not have to have any type of baking skills or know how to be a chocolatier. We provide all of the products for them.
Okay. That's very, very cool, ladies. So, wow, what a story. My other one question is, what is Cocoa Forte? How'd you come up with that name?
Cocoa Forte is kind of a combination of thoughts that we had. So cocoa is spelled C-O-C-A, like the cacao bean, actually. And that's considered a luxury good crafted by artisans. And forte is French. It means skill or talent. And we just brought those two words together to, just debut our unique dessert of our vanilla New York style cheesecake dipped in chocolate and fruity flavors with the added toppings.
Very good.
Well, and so just in a nutshell, why would I, if I was looking for a food truck, Why would I stop and pause at Cocoa Forte?
Well, number one, we are high end. We're high end and we're professional. When you go to a food truck rodeo, next time you participate at a food truck rodeo, to as an eater,
Mm-hmm.
just be aware of how hard they work on the inside. And um, we don't work as hard as a savory truck. Our products are already made. We dip on site, but we have an easy process.
Mm-hmm.
We arrive 30 minutes before an event, serve, collect our funds, clean up, and we leave. Whereas other mobile unit concepts, especially specifically savory units, they have a lot of prep work that they have to do ahead of time. And when they arrive to locations, it may be an hour or more that they need to prepare while they're on their unit. You'll see that they will have several items on their menu that they'll have to cater to for eaters, whereas even though we have 12 or more flavors, we only bring up to 3 at a event. So we have more workspace to work out of. Our concept is seamless. Short, small menu, we can push out more product. And whereas some customers for a savory truck may wait 15 to 20 minutes for their order, for us, it's less than 10 minutes. We literally dip and serve. And the cleanup time is it's easy. We're wiping down. We have less waste. If we didn't sell all of our products, we have a freezer in the unit. We don't have to give away free food. We don't have to be upset because we have to throw product out. We just keep it frozen and use it towards the next event.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Cocoa Forte is the brand in food trucks, I think. So thank you, Nicole, for sharing with us. Tony, did you have anything else for Nicole?
I just want you all to know you can connect with Nicole on LinkedIn. Just find her name on LinkedIn. And if you are interested in exploring Cocoa Forte as a potential franchisee, make sure you get in contact with Jennifer. And here's our information. Jennifer will be the liaison between you and Nicole to make sure it's a right fit for you before you even get to Nicole, because that's what she does. So, but our goal is to help, especially our emerging franchisors, to get the awareness out there so that people know they exist and that there might be an opportunity. And are you expanding nationwide, or are you keeping it regional?
We are expanding nationwide.
Okay, very good. So I have a network everywhere. Awesome, awesome. So thank you so much, Nicole, for sharing. You got my mouth watering. I'm looking at the pictures behind you. I just
That's right.
Focused on that chocolate one over your left shoulder. Is it your left or your right? But anyway, so I am. I can't wait to maybe come to Raleigh and try your desserts, or get you somebody here in Houston.
That's right.
This market is right for that.
That's right. So thank you again, Nicole, for joining. Reach out to me again if you have any questions, and we'll definitely be in touch. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, what an interesting concept.
Wow.
And I don't know how I missed her at IFA. She's so beautiful.
I
usually like to track down the beautiful Black women. I want to be your friend. So I am so glad that you tracked her down and you brought her here.
So I'm confident that we'll hear more from Nicole and her success.
Absolutely.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you, Jennifer. Next week we should have some good news to share with our
audience. We've been working on some stuff. Yes.
We're working on some things. So, and our You keep hearing us talk about IFA and, the franchise initiatives around diversity. We have some power heavy hitter guests coming
That's right.
soon. So you guys share. Tell people about what we're doing here. That not enough entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs understand the power of franchising. And if we don't tell them, how will they know? So hit the share button wherever you are watching this and share the link with your network so that they can understand the power of franchising. It may be just the thing for your family member, your coworker. Layoffs are happening, resignations are happening. Don't keep us a secret. We appreciate your support.
That's right. And then you can find from my Atlanta community, you can find me and Tony at the Palm on May 19th. And then August, we are at the Power Network Conference
Mm-hmm.
in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to that as well. So we're starting to make some rounds, and who knows, we may be in your city soon. Well,
Awesome.
anyway,
Well, thank
Tony,
you, Jennifer. And
thank
thanks for
you.
this great guest. I appreciate you. And everybody else, it's time to take a drastic step today
For a fantastic step tomorrow. Bye, everyone.